Hello students, today I am going to talk about an important form of written composition, that is Precis writing. Students, in almost every competitive exam, when the objective is for English language proficiency test, the questions based on Precis writing are always there. And not only from the point of examination, if you people want to improve your writing skills, if you want to enhance your linguistic competence, you must practice Precis writing, because Precis writing is an exercise in comprehension, it's an exercise in concentration, and it's an exercise of condensation. I mean to say that when we are to write a Precis, we have to concentrate on a particular text. And only after a concentrated reading of that very text, we can comprehend the contents of that very text. And after comprehension of the text, what we are supposed to do? We are to reproduce those very contents in a condensed form. So this is how this written composition, this form of written composition is an exercise of comprehension, concentration and condensation. So now in this video, let's begin with a brief introduction with the origin and definition of this form of written composition. Etymologically, or as far as the origin of the word is concerned, the word Precis is of French origin, and the French word means to be precise and clear or to summarize. So the very literal meaning of the word shows that Precis writing is an exercise which is a concise and clear statement of the substance of a longer passage in a connected and readable pattern. This is how we define a piece of Precis writing. Now the question is that Precis writing is a concise and clear statement, means Precis writing is to be a summary of a substance of a longer passage. So now the question is that are Precis and summary identical? And there is one more term, abstract. All three they deal with the art of summarizing. Are they identical? Are they different from each other? So let's first try to understand that is there any difference. No doubt student, as far as the point of summarizing is concerned, all three are identical but with a slight difference. As far as summary is concerned, summary is more often synonymously used with Precis, but there is one distinction. A summary can be in the form of notes with just headings, subheadings and numbered points beneath them. But a Precis is always in the form of a paragraph. So here is the difference. Summary can be a paragraph, summary can be written in the form of main points or notes, but Precis is always written in the form of a paragraph. Then there is abstract. Abstract is used in some wider connotations. It's a summary constructed by extracting the key sentences of a paragraph and putting them together coherently. But in Precis, the extraction of the key sentences is no doubt there, but here is the extraction of the core concern. Here is the extraction of the essence of each paragraph in the original passage, and then those very contents are expressed or arranged in a Precis. So this is how Precis, summary and abstract are different from each other. So now the question is that why Precis writing is considered to be so important? Where do we need it? The very first thing which comes into in our mind whenever we talk about a summary or summarizing something means it is a time saving exercise. It is a step towards time budgeting when one is working on any big project, whether in the field of academics, policy making, or business. Students, nowadays everyone has a variety of jobs to attend to. So one does not have enough time to go into all the details the project one is handling. So one just want to know the essential facts of a situation as briefly and clearly as possible. To take an example, we can say that an officer, a boss in an office might like to know the main points of an article published in a journal, published in a newspaper, or he might want an important speech of a minister to be summed up before him. So both these situations need making a précis. So this is how précis is important from the point of the time budgeting, from the point of saving our time. Then another important fact which is associated with this art of written composition is that this form of written composition fosters the habits of correct reading and comprehension. Why is it so? Because to write a précis, we have to train ourselves to read the contents carefully. Only then we can fully comprehend that very passage. So this is how it's an exercise. It has its importance as an exercise to develop the habit of careful reading and comprehension. Then comes that this précis writing has an importance as an exercise to inculcate critical thinking, because when we are to write a précis of a longer passage or a long speech, we have to be extra careful to remove the non-essential details and to keep the essential details. So in this way it inculcates the sense of discrimination, discriminating the non-essential and essential. So from the point of view of inculcating critical thinking, précis writing is very important. And then lastly, no doubt, it polishes one's writing skills because it is an exercise for accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Because we have to reproduce a particular text or a longer passage in a condensed form, in a brief manner, and while making a brief note of a detailed presentation, we have to be clear, we have to be accurate, we have to be careful about keeping the sense of that very original text. So this is how précis writing is very important from the point of view of saving time while handling different projects, and at the same time it is also important from the point of enhancement of linguistic competence along with critical thinking. Now we are familiar with this very fact that précis writing is important for us, and précis writing is to deal with summarizing a longer passage. So now the question is that what are the elements of a good précis, that everyone can write a précis easily. This is a general impression, but to write a précis is not so easy. It's a skill which is to be developed after a long, very strenuous practice or training. So for a good précis, we have to follow the formula of 5 C's. These 5 C's must be there in a good précis. Number 1, there must be conciseness. Now what does it mean? To be concise means to say all that needs to be said and no more. Means the Precis writer should write what is necessary and avoid writing unnecessary details. A concise piece of work conveys the message in the fewest possible words. So, but one point must be kept in mind, that the Precis writer should not omit some basic and essential facts to achieve conciseness. To achieve conciseness, what one should do when one is to write a good Precis? Number one, omit unnecessary details. Number two, eliminate wordy expressions. Then include only relevant material. So to be concise means to be focused on only on the relevant things. Then next, second C is clarity. Clarity means getting your message across so that the receiver, the one who is going to read that very Precis, can understand what the writer is trying to convey in the original passage, in the original piece of writing. So it is the basic and essential need of Precis, that ideas should be clear and understandable. There should not be any ambiguity. And then third comes coherence. Coherence means logical and clear interconnection of ideas in a written piece of work. So a good Precis should be coherent. The ideas which are presented in the Precis must have a logical connection. They all should be interrelated, or in simple words, I can say that the idea should be well knitted so that the writer may not be confused, and the reader may not be confused or lose his interest in reading that very Precis. So there should be coherence. Then next comes completeness. Completeness means a good Precis should be complete in all respects. Means that the Precis writer should include all the important facts which are given in the original text. Then to make it short, it doesn't mean that he should omit the important ideas. This mistake on the part of the Precis writer will spoil the importance and the meaning of Precis. Means we have, as a Precis writer, we have to reproduce in a summarized form all the details which are given in the original text. So a Precis should be complete in itself. Then lastly, there comes correctness. Correctness means if there should not be any mistake, not even in the part of organization of idea or the connection of the idea, but at the same time there should be no mistake as far as the linguistic expression is concerned. The structure of sentences, the spellings of words must be correct, because a single mistake in structure and spelling may spoil the message. So for correctness, the three things which are to be kept in mind: that the spelling of the words, the use of punctuation, then the use of grammar and syntax. So these are the 5 C's which are the basic elements for a good Precis, that a good Precis should be concise, clear, coherent, complete and correct. So after having a detailed introduction with the origin, definition, need and elements of a Precis, how we should proceed further, with Precis writing. So these are the 4 basic steps which are generally mentioned, which are generally suggested when one is to write a Precis. Number 1, study the given text. Study the passage or the original text of which we are to write the summary or the Precis. Then second step is to structure the summary. To structure the summary, we have to select the important details from that text and then to arrange those very details in a coherent manner as they are given in the original text. And then the third step is to revise that rough structure or the rough draft of the summary, which we have prepared after selecting the important details from the text, and then to proofread it not only from the point of view of the arrangement of the contents, but also from the point of view of the language also. And the next step is that when we are to conclude, when we are to write the final draft of the Precis writing, one should not give his or her personal opinion. So we have to be objective in approach while writing a Precis. So these are the basic steps. Students, by now we are familiar with the elements of a good Precis, and we are familiar with the basic steps of Precis writing. Now the point is that how we can train ourselves to write a good Precis, how we should work upon these 4 steps that we will be able to write a very perfect Precis. So in the next video, we will talk about the golden rules while following these steps to write a perfect Precis. That's all for today. Thank you.